On March 30th, 1867, the United States purchased Alaska from Russia for $7.2 million. This monumental transaction was formalized with the signing of the Treaty of Cession, marking a significant moment in American history. The deal, negotiated by Secretary of State William H. Seward, added a staggering 586,412 square miles to U.S. territory. Seward, a visionary statesman, saw the immense potential in this vast and largely unexplored land. This purchase has been hailed as one of the most significant land acquisitions in history. It paved the way for the United States to expand its influence and resources, contributing to the nation's growth and prosperity. However, at the time, many Americans viewed it with skepticism and even ridicule. Critics dubbed the purchase Seward's Folly and Seward's Icebox, questioning the wisdom of acquiring what they perceived as a frozen, barren wasteland. The purchase price of roughly 2 cents per acre seemed like a steal, yet the public and media were not convinced, focusing on the immediate cost rather than the long-term benefit. However, Alaska was seen by many as a frozen wasteland, far removed from the bustling cities of the East Coast. The harsh climate and remote location made it difficult for people to envision its true value. Newspapers across the country questioned the wisdom of buying what they called Seward's Icebox. The media's harsh criticism reflected the general sentiment of the time, casting doubt on the strategic importance of the acquisition. Little did they know, Alaska held vast potential. Beneath its icy surface lay untapped natural resources, including gold, oil, and other minerals, which would later prove to be invaluable to the nation's economy and development. The purchase of Alaska, once ridiculed, ultimately became a cornerstone of American expansion and prosperity. Russia's decision to sell Alaska was driven by a number of factors. The Crimean War from 1853 to 1856 had left the Russian Empire financially drained and militarily weakened. Maintaining a distant colony like Alaska became a costly burden. Additionally, Russia feared losing Alaska to Britain, which controlled neighboring Canada. Russia's hold on Alaska had always been tenuous. The region was sparsely populated by Russian fur traders and indigenous peoples. The decline of the fur trade in the mid-19th century further diminished Alaska's value to Russia. Faced with these realities, Russia saw an opportunity to sell Alaska to the United States and cut its losses. While many Americans scoffed at the purchase of Alaska, some visionary leaders recognized its potential. Alaska possessed an abundance of natural resources, including timber, minerals, and fish. The vast forests of Sitka spruce and western hemlock promised lumber for a growing nation. The discovery of gold in California in 1848 had ignited a gold rush that transformed the American West. Many believed that similar discoveries could be made in Alaska. The potential for mineral wealth, particularly gold, was a major incentive for the United States. William H. Seward, Secretary of State under Presidents Abraham Lincoln and Andrew Johnson, was the driving force behind the Alaska purchase. Seward was a staunch expansionist who believed in the concept of manifest destiny. He envisioned the United States as a transcontinental power, stretching from the Atlantic to the Pacific and beyond. Seward saw Alaska as a stepping stone to increase trade with Asia. He believed that the United States could establish a dominant presence in the Pacific and challenge the growing influence of European powers in the region. Seward's vision was far-reaching, encompassing not just territorial expansion but also economic and geopolitical dominance. The purchase of Alaska was met with widespread skepticism and ridicule from the American public and politicians alike. Critics saw no value in a vast frozen wasteland thousands of miles from the contiguous United States. Newspapers across the country mocked the purchase, calling it Seward's Folly, Seward's Icebox, and Johnson's Polar Bear Park. The purchase price of $7.2 million, while seemingly small for such a vast territory, was considered exorbitant by many. The US was still recovering from the Civil War, and many believed that the government should focus on rebuilding the nation, not acquiring distant and seemingly worthless lands. Section 6 Gold Rush Vindication. The skepticism surrounding the Alaska purchase began to dissipate in 1896 with the discovery of gold in the Klondike region of Canada, just east of the Alaskan border. The Klondike Gold Rush brought thousands of prospectors and adventurers to the region, eager to strike it rich. While the Klondike gold fields were located in Canada, Alaska became a major supply hub and transportation route for the gold rush. Towns like Skagway and Nome sprang up overnight, and Alaska's population soared. The gold rush proved that Alaska was not a barren wasteland, but a land of opportunity and riches. Section 7. The fate of Native Alaskans. The purchase of Alaska in 1867 by the United States had a profound and lasting impact on the lives of the indigenous peoples who had called the region home for millennia. These native communities, with their rich cultures and deep connections to the land, faced an uncertain future as new governance and settlers arrived. The Tlingit, Haida, Tsimshian, and other Alaska Native groups had long established cultures and traditions that were intertwined with the land and its resources. Their way of life was deeply connected to the natural environment, which provided them with food, shelter, and spiritual significance. These communities practiced sustainable living, utilizing the land and sea in ways that ensured resources for future generations. Their cultural practices, ceremonies, and social structures were all designed to maintain a balance with nature. However, the arrival of American settlers and the imposition of U.S. laws and policies brought significant changes to their way of life. The new governance did not recognize the traditional land rights of the Native Alaskans, leading to conflicts and displacement. Treaties were signed and broken, often to the detriment of the Native Alaskans. Promises made by the U.S. government were frequently not honored, leading to loss of land and resources that were vital to their survival. Native Alaskans were often displaced from their ancestral lands, forced to move to less fertile areas or into settlements where their traditional ways of life were disrupted. This displacement caused significant hardship and loss of cultural identity. The gold rush further disrupted their traditional ways of life as prospectors and mining companies encroached on their territories. The influx of outsiders seeking fortune led to environmental degradation and further loss of land for the Native Alaskans. As prospectors and mining companies encroached on their territories, the Native Alaskans faced new challenges. The environmental impact of mining operations polluted rivers and lands, making it difficult for them to continue their traditional practices. The social fabric of their communities was also strained as they navigated the pressures of a rapidly changing world. Section 8. A strategic masterstroke. In the decades following the purchase, Alaska's strategic importance became increasingly clear. The territory's location at the crossroads of the Pacific and Arctic gave the United States a strategic advantage during World War II. Alaska became a vital air base and supply route for the war effort. The Cold War further underscored Alaska's strategic significance. The territory's proximity to the Soviet Union made it a front line in the Cold War standoff. The construction of early warning radar stations and military bases in Alaska highlighted the territory's role in national defense. Section 9. A lasting legacy. The purchase of Alaska remains a significant event in American history. In 1867, the United States acquired Alaska from Russia for $7.2 million, a decision that was initially met with skepticism and ridicule. Many Americans at the time saw it as a barren, frozen wasteland, and the purchase was mockingly referred to as Seward's Folly after Secretary of State William H. Seward, who orchestrated the deal. What was once dismissed as Seward's Folly has proven to be a wise investment. Over time, the true value of Alaska became apparent. The region's vast natural resources and strategic location have made it an invaluable asset to the United States. Alaska is rich in natural resources, including oil, which was discovered in the late 19th century and has since become a cornerstone of the state's economy. The discovery of oil at Prudhoe Bay in 1968 led to the construction of the Trans-Alaska Pipeline, a monumental engineering feat that transports oil from the North Slope to the port of Valdez. In addition to oil, Alaska boasts abundant reserves of natural gas, timber, and fish. The state's fisheries are among the most productive in the world, providing a significant portion of the nation's seafood. The timber industry, though smaller, also plays a crucial role in the state's economy. The state is also a popular tourist destination known for its stunning natural beauty and abundant wildlife. Visitors flock to Alaska to experience its majestic landscapes, from the towering peaks of Denali to the breathtaking fjords of the Inside Passage. The Northern Lights, or Aurora Borealis, offer a spectacular natural light show that attracts tourists from around the globe. The purchase of Alaska also serves as a reminder of the complex history between the United States and indigenous peoples. The land that was sold by Russia was already inhabited by diverse Native Alaskan tribes, each with their own rich cultures and traditions. The transfer of sovereignty had profound impacts on these communities, leading to significant changes in their way of life. The legacy of the purchase continues to shape the lives of Alaska Natives today, as they strive to preserve their cultures and traditions while navigating the challenges of modern life. Efforts to maintain and revive indigenous languages, customs, and practices are ongoing, reflecting a resilient spirit and a deep connection to the land. The story of Alaska is one of resilience, adaptation, and enduring legacy.